It's not uncommon for an intense domestic dispute to go from a private moment to one that plays out in front of the entire neighborhood. And tonight at an apartment complex in Waipahu, the woman recording is woken in the middle of the night by the screams of multiple neighbors.
You better not hit my car.
She rushes down the stairs and is horrified by what she sees. A man violently swinging a bat, threatening neighbors and striking their cars. The man swings the bat wildly in the air, slamming it on the ground, and the neighbors can do nothing but stand by screaming. Suddenly, the enraged man turns his rampage back to one of the neighbors' cars.
Hey! Those are not your cars!
Smashing out windows one at a time. According to media reports, investigators spend the following weeks looking to press assault and property damage charges, but are unable to identify the man or move forward with the investigation. Later, the neighbors decide to band together to create a neighborhood watch, and there have been no late-night parking lot brawls waking the neighborhood since.
Hey! Those are not your cars!
Kangaroo Island in Australia is a small paradise, something lifelong resident Brenton Davis knows about.
I'm surrounded by family here on Kangaroo Island. It's not that big a place. It's only 100 miles long and 30 miles wide.
Kangaroo Island also suffers from frequent brush fires. One day, Brenton and his neighbors are trying to contain a fire on the north coast of the island. Brenton films some of the island's wildlife, like kangaroos searching for refuge. But soon, it's not just the wildlife running.
I finally just totally got away from all the firefighters and rapidly burned straight across the island in a few hours.
The firestorm heads straight towards Brenton's neighborhood. Brenton, his father, and brother rush to his brother's house. Two nearby neighbors are expected to arrive and help. But before the neighbors can make it, the storm is upon them.
Oh, my language warning. Oh, sorry. Oh, look at it. Oh, look at that, Ben. Thank God we got all that away. Yeah. This will be massively hot in here in a sec. Yeah.
And in that 1 minute, the fire came from a mile away.
As the firestorm rages all around them, Brenton's father worries about the two neighbors who didn't make it to the house in time.
Where the did those boys go? I don't know.
But their focus quickly shifts back to their own predicament.
Burn and piss off, will you?
There's no time for second guessing or wondering what ifs. It's just do what you can in the moment. It's only 4.5 minutes before we went back outside again, and we were absolutely fine.
Yeah, well, we tried.
Though the storm passes, it leaves behind a neighborhood in ruins. But a bit of good news drives up a few minutes later.
Thank God. Boys we're looking for.
It's the neighbors that Brenton's father is worried about during the fire.
Yeah, when we saw Gus and Daniel drive back in, it was just relief that they were safe. We actually just decided just to leave at that point. We'd had enough.
Yippee. We're through.
And while Brenton's family and neighbors make it to safety, they know more storms will return to Kangaroo Island.
That won't be the last fire. There'll be more. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll be any better.
Oh, look at it.
And in Los Angeles, Arizona, a different woman's walk in nature is also interrupted by an irate neighbor who says she is trespassing.
It's not your property.
What does the trail say? Where does the trail say?
Are you being aggressive with me?
No, I'm calling the police.
Go ahead. Because it actually belongs to Los Angeles.
No, it doesn't.
The property
you walked
lines.
off the trail. That's why...
The woman claims that a public path goes in front of this neighbor's house, but the neighbor insists that the trail is a few feet away, and he's calling the police.
Yeah, I've got a woman trespassing on our property. Could you send police over right away? We feel that we're threatened. We've got her on video as well. Please, it's an emergency.
It is not an emergency. I'm on the trail.
Believing she is on a public right-of-way, the hiker pushes back.
Do you see those property spikes? I was not on your
The woman
property.
is very aggressive.
I am not aggressive.
Do you know this person?
No, I don't.
she's
And I'm not
trespassing
being
on our
aggressive.
property.
And I'm not trespassing.
And we have her on video. I can't tell if she has weapons or not.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
The hiker's tone becomes exasperated, but the neighbor stands his ground.
We've got the woman trespassing on the property.
No,
Please
it's
send
not
police over immediately. We
trespassing.
want her arrested.
Have officers en route.
Thank you.
I need you to answer my question. How old is
You know, I'm a
She appears
I'm a
to be about
veteran.
35 to 40 years old.
I'm 57, and I'm a veteran,
57.
and I was not trespassing on his property.
We're very threatened.
You-
Thank you.
You're not
Thank you.
threatened.
Yes.
Oh my God.
At this point, the hiker stops recording and leaves. According to media reports, after the police see the footage, the neighbor is cited for disorderly conduct and false reporting to law enforcement.
Could you send police over right away? We feel that we're threatened. That's hanging out.
The neighbor makes a public apology. He says that prior to this heated standoff, the city of Mesa had rerouted the hiking trail a few feet away from his house because the mountain is too steep to hike safely. But it's clear that throwing shade on a sunny mountain trail is a slippery slope for neighbor relations.
We've got the woman trespassing on the property.
No.
In a small southern Missouri neighborhood, a homeowner named Brian is having a problem. This is Brian's neighbor,
Hey, Brian, you got a minute?
and also Brian's problem.
Brian. Hey, Brian.
The neighbor likes to visit Brian a lot.
I have something you want to hear, Brian. Brian, don't be scared.
The neighbor also likes to come over with a drink and pull Brian into his quirky dramas.
Everything will make a lot more sense to you if you have a conversation. You're not in trouble for what you did. It was part of the plan. You're on a bigger thing than you're aware of.
Brian has no idea what his neighbor is talking about. And when he refuses to answer the door, the neighbor leaves Brian a video message.
I'll just talk to your camera for a minute, since you're not going to sit out and open here.
Brian and his neighbor go way back. The two were actually high school friends over 25 years ago.
Hey, Brian, I know what's going on, and it'll help you. I know how to help you. Go outside. It's not what you think it is. I got it too.
But since moving next door to each other over a decade ago, Brian has had enough of being pulled into his neighbor's elaborate stories.
I know about the train. I know about what happened with him.
So Brian stops answering his door, but that doesn't stop his neighbor from continuing to visit. Until one afternoon, Brian hears the neighbor making strange noises outside his house. Brian is prepared to, once again, not answer the door, but this time the neighbor won't be ignored.
Give me the voodoo doll, you
Brian calls the police, and according to court records, the neighbor is ticketed for destruction of property for breaking Brian's door. After the door attack, Brian has zero tolerance for his neighbor,
Hey, Brian. Dial 911.
and he threatens to call the police anytime the neighbor steps foot on his porch. After living next to each other for nearly a decade, the neighbor finally gets the hint. And while he's no longer paying Brian any visits, he still sends him messages over his security camera. In Louisiana, a dog-loving father and daughter are approaching a neighbor's fence, completely unprepared for what happens next. The large pit bull takes a look at the neighbors and suddenly wiggles under the fence to run at them.
Oh, we can get through that gate!
Caught completely off guard, the father jumps on the hood of his neighbor's car and shouts to try to distract the dog from running towards his daughter. Thankfully, the dog has a history of being around kids and doesn't try to bite anyone before his owner orders him back into the house. The neighbors are shaken but unharmed and learn a valuable lesson that day. As dog lovers, they must be mindful when meeting a new pup, because the neighbor's dog's bark may be as bad as its bite. Many homeowners have the privilege of being neighbors with Mother Nature.
Mr. Squirrel?
Animals, birds, insects, they all help us understand our place in this big neighborhood we call Earth. But sometimes these wild neighbors get a little too wild. Like these two squirrels found on this Nashville door cam. They can't seem to keep their paws off each other. Their antics even set off the doorbell and giving the homeowner a show, whether they wanted one or not.
Yeah, take a picture.
And in this Seattle suburb, a family is visited by two neighboring raccoons who immediately become frisky once in their backyard. The kids watch with their parents and take guesses as to what the raccoons are doing.
Whoa, they're wrestling.
They're doing more than wrestling, I think.
One of the other kids offers another theory.
Is he doing the Heimlich maneuver?
I think so. Yeah, that's the Heimlich.
A theory the parents are quick to adopt. And finally, in New York City, a man discovers two flies going at it on top of his car.
This is in Harlem, baby. You ain't gonna see this nowhere.
And the more the man and his neighbor watch, the more impressed they become.
Look at this. Killing that. Killing that. He got one leg in the air. He ain't letting that go. This fly's teaching me new moves right now.
So don't be surprised the next time you catch some shenanigans going on in the neighborhood. After all, some neighbors are just naughty by nature.
Whoa, they're wrestling.
When 30-year-old social worker Wadney Sargent and her husband Alex move into a tranquil family suburb in West Palm Beach, Florida, they are over the moon.
It was the perfect neighborhood for me and my husband and the doggy. We were filled with excitement and it was emotional too. And then it came to a nightmare.
Across the street from Wadney and Alex lives a couple in their 60s.
Both of my neighbors are confrontational, but we did not expect to have so much issues with our neighbors.
The first instance is when, unbeknownst to Alex, Wadney throws him a birthday party. But shortly after the cake is served, Wadney claims the evening is ruined. The neighbor makes a noise complaint and starts recording her guests, so Wadney starts recording too.
You're on here trying to disturb our party. When I came outside and he was filming me, I felt frustrated and upset and angry. I was kind of trying to chase him away. You came out of your house to do this, okay? Yeah, do the same. I'm doing the same too. And I'm gonna send this email to the HOA tomorrow, okay? Because you're trying to disturb my husband's party. So you're recording me, and you're not supposed to be recording me without information.
Wadney says the police arrive, as she believes the neighbors call them.
I was upset and I was angry, but the party did continue because the officers did not find any evidence of loud music.
However, 2 weeks later, Wadney states the neighbors complain about the noise from a game night she hosts in her garage. When the couple comes outside, Wadney is worried, so she starts recording. Wadney says she's standing on the street, not on their land, and she's aghast by the neighbor's outburst.
I'm feeling angry, and I felt like maybe we made the wrong decision of moving into this particular home.
We could be with our family because of you and your friend.
You're the trashiest people who ever moved in this neighborhood.
Wadney admits she and her husband like to host gatherings in their lovely new home. But she maintains they never go late and are not too loud. However, the neighbor has more to say.
We didn't get done Easter because of you! Keeping us up till 3 o'clock in the morning!
Record that!
This is really happening.
After this exchange, Wadney says she tries to avoid the neighbors.
The current situation with my neighbors now is is that I do feel more anxiety. Typically, I don't go outside, but I'm trying to get better at going outside.
She's at the window. Oh my gosh, she just closed the blind.
Wadney and her husband start to look at new neighborhoods. Then, they have a change of heart.
This is our forever home, so we decided to stay. We have another event coming up, and we are planning on having music and enjoying our time with our friends and family.
You're the trashiest people that ever moved in this neighborhood. Record that! What the is wrong with you, stupid coward?
In Los Angeles, a neighbor standing in a busy road at night is challenging neighbors in an apartment building to come outside and confront him.
You shine lights in my eyes! Try to blind me! Take away my lights!
But nobody seems keen to speak to him in his current state. But in his wild ranting, the man does something dangerous. He takes his eyes off the road. When he walks back to yell at the neighbor recording from their apartment, he steps further into the dark street, and the driver in the black van doesn't spot him until it's too late.
Oh
EMTs soon arrive, and miraculously, the man only suffers minor injuries. A laceration to the back of the head and some road rash. In the following days, even though police determine the man is at fault for stepping into the street, they open an investigation because the driver allegedly failed to stop and offer aid, but they are never found or identified. Because nobody is seriously hurt in this incident, it serves as a serious reminder. Always look both ways, whether you plan on crossing the street or yelling at your neighbors.
You will read what you sow!
One evening, in a suburban neighborhood of Fort Worth, Texas, a couple is picking up their lost Shih Tzu from the home of the stranger who found it. But instead of being appreciative, the neighbors are aggrieved because they feel the rescuer took too long to give the dog back, so the rescuer starts recording.
What'd you call me? What'd you call me? What'd you call me? I saved your dog, and what'd you call me?
The rescuer feels she should be thanked, not insulted, and she is shocked by the husband's behavior.
Don't slap me. Don't slap me. Get out of my face. Get out of my face.
Even though the lost pet is now safely in the car, the neighbor in the pink dress is still incensed.
You're a Karen.
I saved your dog.
Yeah, and you made us suffer for 6-8 hours because you decided it was convenient for you.
I was in Grapevine.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
According to the rescuer, when she finds the dog, she is en route to a Christmas party 25 miles away in the city of Grapevine. So she posts a found dog message on the neighborhood forum and takes the dog with her. The neighbors are angry about the delay, even though the rescuer says it's only been a couple of hours.
Why didn't you answer immediately so we would...
I was in traffic and with thousands of people. I explained that.
Hearing the truth, the husband starts to soften.
Thank you very much.
You're a joke. You're a Karen.
Thank you very much.
Put it on the news.
Thank you very much.
She called that puppy her puppy.
Okay, we've
Come
been
on,
upset.
dog.
I said...
No, I don't.
However, the neighbor in the pink dress is not in the mood for forgiveness.
You are a Karen. You're a dog whispering Karen that wants to be famous. You're a piece of...
Finally, the couple leaves with their precious pet, and the rescuer has not seen them since. Clearly, in this animal-loving neighborhood, emotions run wild, and a good deed can receive a snappy response.
You are a Karen.
The rural town of Walterville, Oregon, calls to 53-year-old Michelle Province and her best friend John when they decide to purchase their first home together.
When I first moved here, I was very excited. It seemed so quiet.
But her eclectic vibe is different than that of her neighbors.
Things I do look different. The way I appear is different. The neighbors are both in their 60s, I'd say early 60s. They're extremely rough, we'll say.
Shortly after moving in, Michelle says she hears the neighbors' dogs barking loudly all through the day. and asks if he can quiet them down.
I absolutely hate your guts.
But she claims the neighbors are agitated by the request and start to exhibit hostile behavior.
He just loves her. You know what you're doing.
Say that again?
I'm not gonna say it on these days.
Oh, did you just threaten me?
On the outside, I seem calm and fine because I have to be. But on the inside, I was extremely frightened.
A month later, the neighbor in the hat alleges that John damages his truck after backing into it. And he demands that John pay him $58 for his scratched fender. John says he doesn't owe the money, as his insurance would pay for any repairs. But the neighbor disagrees and refuses to let him forget it.
He had this massive plywood, and he put $58 arrow pointing at our house, and it said, "Don't forget."
And one day, while Michelle and John are heading to go out, their neighbor decides to confront them, and she starts recording.
Swing at me. You feel lucky? You feel lucky.
What is your problem with us?
You owe me $58.
You need to apologize.
You ain't apologizing for some ran in my car.
I'm talking about all the times you have talked to me.
You're gonna get a lot more time.
All the times you have you get in my face and you challenge me.
I love to have you, bud. Oh, yeah.
Watching John go through it, I'm shaking like a leaf inside. I am freaked out, scared, and I didn't know what was going to happen next.
I can break you in back. Just did it again.
It's horrifying, really, truly, at the core. It's terrifying.
You're wrong.
$58.
No.
And I'm not.
You apologize for your behavior.
I'm not going to apologize for you running my car. You're the one that started it.
No, this began when you came out here and got in my face and challenged me to a fight.
Yeah.
You started this.
What a me.
And this is why I keep the camera rolling. This is why, right here.
With the squabble over, the neighbors retire back inside. Michelle says they call the police, and John is granted a protective order against the neighbor who demands $58. And a week later, Michelle and John receive good news from their landlord.
Management called us and said, this guy has put his house up for sale. I can absolutely feel it viscerally, how peaceful it is now without those old neighbors there, with them long gone.
And while Michelle is still shaken by what happens with her neighbors, she's hopeful for a more peaceful future in her neighborhood.
The new neighbor moved in, and you wouldn't even know he's there. I mean, it's just been lovely, quiet and drama-free, and that's that. I mean, it's been fantastic.
You owe me $58.